and he's losing it. Edwards off and running. Like the pass down to Edwards. They hand it off to Johnson. Boise State has won. Right now, and they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Riley Williams. Goes to the free. Touchdown.
All right, everybody, welcome into another edition of the Gridiron Uncensored podcast. What a hell of a day it's been in the coaching carousel. And we're going to recap, the games, obviously, as you've seen from that beautiful picture that Trevor made for us. Just a hell of a weekend in football. Not much chaos compared to what we were hoping for. But I think the chaos really took over today in the coaching carousel, gentlemen. Lane Kiffin, gone from Ole Miss. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about Texas. We're going to talk about the ACC and the trouble that they're in. And also, is Sherrone Moore on the hot seat moving into next year? Plenty to talk about. Gentlemen, how you doing? What are we thinking about this craziness that's just gone on?
I have a monologue here, and I just want your opinion. And you tell me if you was at a yard sale and somebody come up and said, hey, you can have this for $100 million. All right. For $100 million, I will come to you with a 13-25 record against ranked opponents, a 5-4 bowl record, 5-6 record against top 10 opponents at Ole Miss, and he's 10-10 against ranked opponents at Ole Miss. He's a good coach. I'm not saying he's not. I like him. I would take him. But the fashion in which he left, I think, was awful. There's too much personality there for me. And I think he left the better of the two positions. And I just think he created a lot of issues for himself in the future.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. And I've been this way about Lane since, all of his coaching careers. It's like there's always good wins in there, and then there's some bad losses. This was really the first year that he stepped out of that frame, and they had been killing it in the portal the last two seasons. Last year they should have been in, except for that bad loss to, what was it, Kentucky? I think it was like the mid-late season. But this year you finally get there, and then it's like you're begging for more money, which you're already killing it in the portal. You're one of the top spenders. Ole Miss, you've shown that you can win and get there with the recruiting base that you have. You don't need number one classes to win a national championship. You have to be the good coach. And so far it's been him that's been letting Ole Miss down in those instances. Mm-hmm. They've had quarterback play. He's done well with that. But now he, like you said, the way he's leaving, it's pretty shitty. The fan base is rightfully pissed. You finally get to, the players are like, what the hell's we just worked our ass off to get to the playoff, and now you jump ship. It's just crazy. Trevor, what do you think, man? Would you, if you're LSU, are you happy with it? Obviously you're paying it, but I don't know.
So with LSU, I would be happy for now, but just don't count your blessings just yet, because he may leave as soon as he might do a bait and switch and leave as soon as Kalen DeBoer becomes the Penn State head coach. I'm just saying.
That's another wrinkle in the college.
Just saying. If it ever happens, I think the likelihood of that happening anyway is gone, because if the only way that situation would happen is if Alabama ran him out of town for losing against Auburn. But that would be the only scenario in which I think he would just be like, okay, deuces, I'm going to the Big Ten. They're nicer in the North about their football.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I think with him, I don't blame him for leaving, and necessarily when it comes to like the ability that LSU has to organically recruit. They're going to be tops in the portal, but at the same time, you showed that you finally can get there with Ole Miss. You showed that. And then, I don't know. The money's there, Anthony. I agree. The money's there. LSU is throwing the bag. You know that. I don't know, Blake. I know you don't like how he left, and Casper.
So
I agree. You make the playoffs. Why are you leaving? Like, you're leaving everybody high and dry. It's true. It's pretty jacked up, but it's the nature of the beast, I guess. I don't know.
what I will say is that I don't blame him, because at the end of the day, players can be pissed. I get it, but guess what? Those players can leave, and every single year they are in the college ranks. They could at Ole Miss this year. They could go to LSU next year. They don't like it. They could go back to LSU or Ole Miss, and then they can go, oh wait, I want to go play for Michigan for my senior year, and they can do it. It's allowed. So why, I don't. The one thing, while it was a kind of a dick move in the manner in which he left, I don't get the uproar. Like, I've decided to take a better job, because Ole Miss fans, I'm sorry, but LSU's better in just every cotton picking way. They are better than you.
You're not wrong.
And historically, they are better.
I think they just got a reality check in the pecking order of the SEC.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking with a friend earlier about this. I feel like Ole Miss fans have gotten too big for their britches already, just with one winning season.
Yeah.
So I think they need to curb their expectations and the expectations of the leadership. You guys hired your defensive coordinator as a head coach. You could have literally asked anybody that has had a successful season. I think JMU's head coach deserved a shot at the Ole Miss position. I think there's a few other coaches in the Big 12 that would have loved to have had a shot doing the Ole Miss position that I thought have had great seasons. SMU, I would have probably tried to even Ole Miss. If you really wanted to get big for your britches, you could go talk to Dabo Sweeney. You could go talk to him, because he probably is not having a good time this year. I'm just going to say it.
Yeah, he's having it rough out there over Clemson.
For you to just go ahead and keep the continuity, hire the defensive coordinator as a head coach, if that report is true, which I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
I get it, but let's not get it up in uproar when a coach decides to go to a better program.
Yeah, I don't know, Blake. You got anything? I know it's the way everybody's upset at the way he left, and this him going out. I need a lot more money. I need all these things when you've been given money, like you.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of how Lane's MO has been ever since he's been a head coach.
He's just a controversial human being, and that's why, like I said, I would take him at Bama, but I've never been like a huge advocate to get him.
Yeah.
I just think he causes too much chaos, and the going when it's good is good. But look what he did, as a fan and as a player. I mean, like what Casper said, you make the playoffs. These kids put in the effort all year, and you just up and leave.
Yeah.
I just think it's wrong.
Look, at the timing is not great, granted, but it's not his fault. It's not any coach's fault on when they have to make a decision on their coaching future.
No,
you're not wrong.
It's the fault of the whole college world.
Yeah.
On when they allow these kids to, when the transfer portal opens up, when the signing day happens, like these coaches have about a week time frame to make up their mind if they're leaving or they're staying. Yeah. Otherwise, they're going to be behind the 8 ball right out the gate.
Yep. And look, he's already on the ground in LSU right now, and he's already recruiting. He's seen their number one recruit already. Lane has. He's already recruiting harder than Deion Sanders has ever done at Colorado. But I had to take a shot at him. It's just the calendar sucks. It is what it is. We're in this thing where these young men are getting paid, constitutionally, legally, they have to. And then you're still playing this academic thing where, school semester starts in January, you got to be enrolled.
That part hasn't changed either. Yep.
No, exactly. So everybody's getting fucked by school, and these kids, they just came here to play ball, man. So who was it? Cardell Jones said that back in the day. I didn't come here to play school. He wasn't wrong, So I don't know. Either way, Lane Kiffin, he's moved on to LSU. I think you'll be fine for him, but yeah, what happens if Bama comes calling down the line and maybe he wants to get back into that?
I really don't think he will ever be the head coach at Alabama.
You think it's too much of a mess?
Well, the fans want it, but the way he left Bama to begin with, I think it just left a bad taste in Burns' mouth, and I just don't. As long as Greg Burns is that AD there, I just don't think Kiffin will ever be a part of Alabama.
Yeah,
And I'm
I don't
fine
know.
with that.
Hey, question real quick. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. February 1st might be too late for the school calendar. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know up north, some of the schools start later. And I think out west, I've heard that some of them start their semesters later. But if I remember, like when I was in college, we started like the second week of January, and you've got to be enrolled and ready to go. They had the first spring portal session last year. It was mid-December, and then they had one in April. But now they've decided on one, and that's going to be January 2nd is when it starts, and that's in the middle of playoff runs. I guess the first playoff games are what December 31st and January 1st, so it'll be the first day after the semifinals are done. And then after that, so if you're making a run, you're going deep into the playoffs, you're going to lose some of your depth pieces. You might lose the top end. I doubt you lose the top end guy, but it might happen. I just don't know. It's a mess, but that's something that the NCAA's got to figure out, but they're a shell of themselves, and legally they'll just get challenged at every turn.
So everybody listening, overall grade on Lane Kiffin to LSU. Do you think LSU knocked it out of the park with getting them? Or don't you? Or do you think it's just a Band-Aid for their actual coaching and organizational problems?
My personal opinion, I don't think he was the best available coach. Like,
okay,
if it was me, I would have won. I think Florida got the best hire out of the. I mean,
I like Summerall.
I think John Summerall was a home run hire. Kiffin's a good hire, yeah.
Right.
I just don't know that he gets you any better of a season record than what Brian Kelly was getting.
So A, B, C, where do you have them as far as like
I'd say
level
a B,
of a coach?
B plus A.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go A. I mean, he's proven he can win, at Ole Miss. He should be able to do the same at LSU. It did take a minute, but LSU automatically, I mean, it's an easier place to recruit than what Ole Miss is. And Ole Miss they're historically nothing outside of the period when they were paying players and doing crazy stuff with old Hugh Freeze down there. Right. So I mean, outside of that, Lane made them relevant. I give it an A. I want to see if he does take it, how quick he can do it, because like you said, Brian Kelly didn't do shit. I like the John Summerall one at Florida. I'll give that an A too. Trev, what do you think?
Yeah, so it's an A. It's an easy A because they put all their chips on this one coach. This is the coach they wanted.
It's fair.
They put it all in it. There was no talk of them talking to anyone else but Lane Kiffin. That was it. That was the only thing, the only coach they wanted.
Yeah,
so,
I mean they beat Florida for him.
When you zero on a coach and you get that one coach that you wanted, I feel like that's an A no matter all the way across the board for your organization. Now, whether it works out or not, that's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah.
But that's an A. And as far as the Somerville hire, that will go down as probably the best hire in the last since Nick Saban came to Alabama.
You like it?
I fully believe Summerall will turn them back into the Florida that we live without the murderers and all the other stuff.
Without the Urban Meyer,
without the Urban Meyer sketch fest going on.
The thing is the SEC coaching staffs are like name wise insane now. Because like back then the West was still Alabama. Les Miles was kind of, he was still up there, but he was, in and out. And then Georgia, once Urban Meyer left, Georgia's dominated the East.
That's true.
Which all that's changing anyways. But, there's so many big names in the SEC now, like with Sark and DeBoer, Kiffin, Summerall, and Kirby Smart.
You can even put Oklahoma's coach in there too.
Yeah,
it's a big name. Venables. His name's been talked about a lot in the coaching circles. Has really increased his coaching stock.
If anything, the SEC will be like the Big 12 going forward. It'll just be a bunch of school. It's just going to eat itself alive. And that's kind of what it's done this year. Really.
It's going to eat itself alive, and I believe this this is not a knock on the coaching staffs in the Big Ten, but ultimately, I feel like a lot of these SEC schools are going to become feeder schools for people to snag the offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators from said Venable coaching tree, Kirby Smart coaching tree, Lane Kiffin coaching tree, so on and so forth.
Yeah, well, talking about, I mean, other schools that are out there, there's more than just him, right? And then in Florida, you know, picking Summerall, which I agree, I think is a great hire for them. I mean, Kentucky really seemed to want to hit Summerall last year, but they, you know, that whole saga with Mark Stoops, but it seems they've fired Mark Stoops now is a word coming down the street from him. Everybody's getting fired and hired today. So we've got Alex Golish going to Auburn. I think that's a great hire. You're bringing in the Ruski.
I'm in complete disagreement on that.
You don't like it.
I'm
giving that like a B plus ish area. I like his attitude. I think he sets a good standard and a good culture. I mean, it's a hard place to win because you're recruiting against everybody, but it can be done.
Well, we're talking about the same school, Auburn, right? That think they're better than everybody else and everything like that. But then
hey, they've got 9 national titles now. They picked them all up overnight. Don't forget.
Okay. You know, the old saying, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. But in Auburn, when the going gets tough, go to Russia and get a communist.
But no, honestly, so on a more real note, I really think that Auburn has enough clout as an organization, as a program, to get someone that has a better overall record than he does.
My opinion with Auburn, before Hugh Freeze was hired, they should have let Carnell Williams take over the program. And I think you would see a different Auburn than today. But for what they are now, I think this is a good hire because I like him. I think I like his demeanor. He's a tough coach. He's defensive minded.
I might be proven wrong, but I give that a C plus for me.
He ran a hell of an offense at Tennessee. I mean, he beat Bama with him. So I've seen Bama play him 3 times now, and we've struggled every time we played him. So,
and I mean, listen, you look at USF and how they played this year. They've also beaten Florida already. So I mean, that's
but then you got. But see, my thing is that you go back a year prior. If you go back a year prior, when their star quarterback and the one person that drug that team to a successful season this year was not there, they didn't do so hot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different beast, but I mean, he's going to be able to recruit well there, I think. And then I'll say they were trying for Summerall. When you're Auburn, from what I've been reading, they were trying for Summerall, and he said no because of the boosters and all the bad things that you always hear about Auburn.
They have too much control.
Yeah, they have too much say in everything that's going on, it feels like. But yeah.
So if you're Auburn and that happens, you've got to be like, oh, shit.
Yep.
Like
reality
check, right?
I noticed like in the Auburn game last night, like it's always so loud there, but they're not actually cheering. I noticed they all turn face to face with each other and just breathe really loudly into each other's face. It is the most awkward thing I've ever seen. So that's probably why Summerall didn't want to go there. I wouldn't want to go there.
All that hot breath.
Yep.
Trevor's not a fan of Golish going to Auburn there. What about?
I think it's average. It's an average hire, no big deal. But that's standard Auburn average.
Yeah, I mean, very well could be. Silverfield going to Arkansas from Memphis. To me, if I'm him and what I've been doing at Memphis, I'm right on the edge of playoffs. But you keep folding there. What are you going to do at Arkansas? I would have stayed at Memphis. I mean, I know you're getting more money, but at least you have a shot at the playoffs there, with the, conference championship.
I feel like this is just a resume builder for him. I feel like it's a resume builder. Now that you've gone up to that next tier, you're in the SEC. Now you're coaching the SEC. Pray to God that you get a 500 season, and Arkansas is going to love you forever.
I wonder if his young quarterback will come up from Memphis because he's a talented guy. He's a freshman, so I think that could be good for him.
I think so far in the past, we've pretty much seen that there's been a group of players generally follow their coach. If they're going to that next tier or that next level, there's some of the more elite players from each of those teams tend to follow.
Yeah, I think you'll see. And then we mentioned that Ole Miss did officially hire, Pete Golding according to On3. people are saying that's an A hire because your continuity. I'm saying it's a C because he's never been a head coach before. I think he's good in his X's and O's, and I think it's fine for getting into the playoffs. We've seen it with Michigan, who we're going to talk about here in a little bit.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, you got screwed in a cycle, the Harbaugh thing, and you hire who you go out and get Sharon Moore. Like, okay, we'll talk about that, like I said, in a little bit. But right now, Ole Miss is kind of in that same realm of, oh shit, like this is where we're at. We've got to hire somebody we know. Somebody's got to coach this thing. Somebody's got to take us through the playoff. I don't know, guys. I'm saying C. It's out of necessity.
For Arkansas, I didn't like it. As an Arkansas fan, I wouldn't like it. To me, it was like, just do something. They've seen all these other names getting snagged. And, I mean, he's a good coach at Memphis, but, he loses some games he shouldn't lose there. But, I mean, he does have them in the playoff run. And, I mean, he's a good coach. I don't like the hire.
Yeah.
If I'm an Arkansas fan. But as far as Pete Golding, I mean, for continuity, the program, the players, what you got. I understand, you're trying to retain people, stuff like that. But long term, I mean, if you're going to fold, I say just go ahead and fold.
Yeah.
And, struggle a year or two and find the guy. I mean, because that tends to work out better.
Yeah, and like I said, we might be talking about that here in a minute. But as for the rest of LSU staff, a bunch of them are leaving. Not all of them, but we saw Weiss get on the plane with Kiffin after Kiffin gave the ultimatum: if you're not on that plane today, you're not getting a job. So just crazy happening.
As an offensive coordinator, I don't blame him for going because, frankly, the amount of talent that he's going to have to get to work with at LSU is going to be unreal.
And I wonder if Chambliss will transfer again and head with him.
Does he have eligibility still?
I'm sure he does. I mean, he's a young dude. He came over from Ferris
I thought he was a
State,
junior.
right?
I thought he was a redshirt junior transfer.
I'd have to double check, but
maybe I'm wrong.
You might get a 1 year out of him. I have no idea. I'd have to check that again. But either way, guys, let us know in the comments, what would your grades be for the coaches? Auburn, Arkansas, obviously Ole Miss, LSU. And then outside of that, there's some rumors for the Penn State side up on the north side who started this whole coaching carousel, really, the big side of it. We know Virginia Tech had fired their coach and Stanford as well. But Penn State still has yet to hire anybody. I don't even know who they're interviewing. You don't really see anything about it. But there is a rumor mill, but they're going after Kalani Sitake from BYU. What do you guys think about that? Trevor, I know you mentioned offline. You kind of dig it.
I mean, I love that idea if it's freaking true. But here's what I'll say. Penn State, you're a bunch of fucking morons for not having anybody in mind or someone. You should have someone hired right now. You've had plenty of time to vet and watch these different coaches operate and how they operate. So you should have already had a good idea on who you wanted. So unless you're trying to shoot for the stars and get like a Kalen DeBoer or something, which is idiotic to say the least, I don't understand why we're even talking about Penn State because, I mean, who's left? I mean, Sitake's a great choice if that's who they're going after, in my opinion. I don't hear anybody really talking about the JMU coach, maybe because he's too young, but age is just a number, so I feel like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I think people are overlooking like Eli Drinkowitz.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I've heard his name. What job did I hear him attached?
Well,
to?
his name has been attached to Penn State, but I think he just signed an extension, didn't he?
Yeah.
With not saying
Was
that
it Drinkowitz?
Be all end all, because you can easily shred that shit. I don't know. I maybe they have Heartline locked up, and it's just, hey, let us do our playoffs, and then But I just don't know. I feel like you would have heard something by now. No, Fickle staying. But again, he watched the video
with Fickle there, Mr. Casper, sir.
Yeah, you're sorry, buddy.
Mr. Wisconsin fan over there, a resident Wisconsin fan.
Penn State. I don't know. I mean, Virginia Tech, I feel like they had a great hire with Franklin. Yeah. Even though we've said what we've said about Franklin in the past, he has his struggles in the biggest.
I mean, he's definitely a Virginia Tech coach. Like that is the level that he needs to be at.
Well,
agree.
he doesn't fit the Big Ten aura. He fits the
Yeah.
ACC, the weak, slummy schools. He fits that era.
Yeah.
Or the bottom of the barrel of the SEC, one of the two.
I mean,
Yeah.
he'll be able to get them probably to a playoff pretty quickly.
I think he'll recover that recruiting pipeline pretty well. I think.
All right, gents. Any other coach? I can't remember if I'm missing one, but I think we've
Morris
hammered it.
at Oklahoma State. From North Texas going out there.
I think that's a good one. I like
I do
that
too.
hire.
Yeah, North Texas has had a great season. They've been really good in the portal. So I think if he takes the stuff that he's been doing in the portal over there, I think that you'll see a quick turnaround with Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and if he's able to get Mestemaker to come up there, I mean that kid has had an insane season. I would
almost imagine that we're gonna see the same exodus that we saw with JMU when Signetti went to Indiana. Yeah. I think it's going to be identical.
And you might see a quick turnaround for if you're Oklahoma State fans, and I know that's what you're begging for after the last 2 seasons. So I mean, we'll see what happens with them. And North Texas said, hey, if we do make the playoffs, because they are in line for it, we'll talk about the playoff chaos later. They'll let him coach through the playoffs, and I think that's respectful for them. They understand, unlike Ole Miss and LSU, where your conference rivals, and North Texas understands what's the deal here, and they have a lot on the line to be a playoff team potentially, but they've got to sneak in there. All right, let's talk about the next topic here, and that's Texas. A case for Texas or against, depending on what you think. Should they be in? And this one, it's been tearing up the Twitterverse. Everybody's talking about it. Well, why not them? What's wrong with them? Why are they further back in the AP poll? They should be above Vanderbilt. For me, I get the conversation, especially after you just go out and you beat Texas A&M like that. I mean, the defense has been strong pretty much all year. They've had some rough games, but the offense has just been so sluggish. And then they'll come on and all these different things, guys. I want to hear your takes about it before I throw out mine. Should Texas be in? Should they have consideration?
Well, to me, we've got to see, how everything else falls. But what I'm seeing mainly is should they get the nod over Notre Dame? To which that argument, I can agree to an extent. Notre Dame is playing good football, but not being in a conference, not having to play a conference championship, which I know Texas is not having to do that, but
right,
just the fact that they wouldn't have to do that regardless, I don't like that. But also, Notre Dame is playing good football.
Yeah.
But their signature marquee win is USC. And they have not really beat any high caliber programs. Whereas, which Texas, they beat Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Texas is very similar to Alabama to me. They've got the ugly loss to Florida State for Bama. Bama's got the big win over Georgia, a good win over Vandy. Texas has the big win over Texas A&M. They got the win over Vandy. Everything's pretty well, for that argument, the same, whereas Alabama's got to play that extra game. Texas does not.
Yeah.
So for them getting it over Bama, it comes down to, is the committee going to say, we're punishing Bama for playing the extra game if they lose? If Bama wins, I don't think Texas goes unless they put a win over Notre Dame. And a lot of it just depends on how everything else falls. We kind of just got to see what ends up happening.
And we'll see what the committee does on that too. Trev, what are your thoughts?
So for once in my opinionated college football life, I am going to try and stick to what I think is a valid point on the Texas side thing is, why are you punishing a Texas team that should be 10-2, but they had that extra loss at the beginning of the season because they said that everybody was telling them they would be rewarded for scheduling tough. Yeah. And you scheduled the toughest team in the land, the defending national champions. So if that's not going to be taken into account that's a slippery slope that you're going to see. Everybody's going to have soft schedules at the beginning of the year then. And that's like, if you do not reward Texas for doing that, and the strength of schedule, if you go side by side with Texas and Notre Dame, Texas knocks them out of the park with strength of schedule. I think Texas right now is ranked 9th, and I believe Notre Dame is somewhere in 23 to 33, somewhere in there as far as strength of schedule currently.
Yeah.
I'm not positive, but it's somewhere in that range. So, I mean, look, it's a no-brainer to me, and I don't think Notre Dame deserves to be in the playoff at all, regardless of how well they're playing. And just because of their name, I'm sorry, you got to be a part of a conference, in my opinion, to be a part of the playoff.
Yep.
I know you. I get that to a point. I'll differ on the Ohio State thing though. Now the strength of schedule thing that you mentioned, just pulling it up. Texas is currently ranked 8th in strength of schedule. Notre Dame's is 42nd. So
I was giving them the benefit of the doubt. Look at that.
They are getting a major benefit of the doubt, and even I do it. Like when I'm doing my rankings, I look at Notre Dame and how they play, and I'm like, they look like a damn good football team. Their first 2 games were good losses to a good Miami team, and then to Texas A&M. So like they get the benefit of the doubt there, and I think Texas is still getting some credit for that Ohio State loss because they played them the closest all season. There's a reason that we're even having this conversation is because of a tight loss there, and of course they're good wins. Right. However, you get blown out by Georgia. I mean, Georgia spanked their ass, and then you go out and you lose to Florida, who's not a good football team. Okay, they're talented. They're not good. They struggle, and I mean,
but okay.
I think though I weigh losses not necessarily as heavier than a good win, but they kind of balance each other out. You get a really bad loss and a really good win. Okay, that's great. You've shown that you have both sides of the spectrum. You can be a strong team. You can also suck at, and then those kind of middling areas. So I think they're right there, but
so do you think they should be over Notre Dame?
The more I see it, the more I think Notre Dame needs to be punished a little bit for their.
I think Notre Dame should be punished because they lost to the team that literally just lost to Texas.
Yeah, I mean,
I think that at this point in time, we should treat this like the BCS, and late losses matter. Late wins should matter just as much.
See, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think you got to go with the whole season for me. Whatever happened in week 1 still has to take
matter.
But I mean, Texas A&M will probably only drop back to maybe 4, 5, 6 range. So still, I mean, you lost
depending on who wins what. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So I mean, when the committee drops their rankings tomorrow, Tuesday. I don't know, man. I think it's tight. I think it's a very tight thing. I want to read it. I know. Oh man, look, I think that Notre Dame's had a fine schedule this season, considering earlier seasons when they played outside of conference. But I don't know. Texas they do have a much better strength of schedule, but those losses are rough. And then you look at teams like Alabama's in front of them. They've got good wins. Yeah. You're not going to beat. I mean, they did beat Oklahoma. You're talking about these head-to-head wins. Should Texas be ahead of Oklahoma? Should they be ahead of Vanderbilt? I don't think so, because they have worse loss and a third loss. But I don't know. It's a tough conversation. I want to see you guys in the comments.
Then are you using your bias from what the team was the previous year with Oklahoma to say, wow, they're so improved and they're doing all this great stuff? I feel like there's a little bit of bias with Vandy because you just want to see what they can do in the playoff.
Sure.
Because everybody wants to see what Vandy can do. And what?
I think Vandy's proven themselves pretty well.
I think Vandy deserves to be in over Notre Dame as well, frankly. I don't think Notre Dame deserves to be in.
Yeah. So you're a no on Notre Dame. Blake, what do you think? Texas, I mean, it's all just where everything else lays.
They should definitely be considered. It's just it boils down to where do you put them in and who do you put them in instead of? Because so the big one that is going to affect this, I think, is going to be if BYU beats Texas Tech. Yeah, that's going to be that's going to put a big wrinkle in a lot of things, because then
Very
it's
true.
going to be BYU is one-loss conference champ, but look at what Texas Tech has done this season, and especially if it's a close loss to BYU.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are you really going to leave Texas Tech out? I mean, they
Right.
dominated Utah on the road. I mean, and they have been a dominant force.
And their only loss was without their starting quarterback.
Yes.
Which they'll take into consideration.
Correct. So, I mean, that's what's going to throw the big wrinkle and everything, because then it's going to come down to, you know, you're going to have Notre Dame, Texas. If that happens on top of, like, say Georgia kicks a game-winning field goal to beat Bama, then you have, you know, because they'll look at that too. Bama beat Georgia on the road, and then they lose because everybody knows it's harder to beat a team twice.
Yeah.
And then you lose on a last-second field goal or something. There's going to be a lot of arguing and bickering. And I've said it from the get-go. Anytime there's a playoff, there's, no matter how big it is, there's always going to be somebody that you think.
Cue the 16-team playoff conversation.
See,
it's already happening.
Even if you did that, though, it would still be the same thing. You would have people saying, "Oh, well, Iowa deserves to be in. Iowa, you know, they're 8-3. They deserve it."
I'll tell you what, the only way this is going to stop, because there's always been a top 25, right? The only way this is going to stop is if it's a 2014 playoff, and the 25th team can suck it.
Well, yeah. Well, there's like Tony Petitti. He's a fucking loser from the Big Ten. He's already preaching for a 2014 playoff.
Oh, of course he is.
And I'm like,
is.
no. If you're gonna do the FCS model, you've got to have all 10 conference champions in it. Like, do it right. But regardless, I'm not getting into that because I hate that idea anyway. It's going to be tough. There's a log jam. There's a massive log jam. Miami's probably going to get left out. Notre Dame, BYU, they're right there. I mean, they're in that slot. But again, if they're going to lose if they lose the conference championship, it's an extra data point. It's not necessarily fair unless you get blown the hell out. 50-team playoff.
Listen, Mr. Kurt, you need to stop that noise right now. Nobody wants to see March Madness up in here.
I've heard that Tony watches our show, Kirk, and he might be calling you up.
He might be sending it. He might be.
I'll say it's going to be crazy finish here, and you're going to have some teams left out. Vandy's probably going to be on the outside looking in, and then it comes down to, you know, we'll talk. I mean, maybe we go ahead and hit it now. The ACC being in trouble since we're in this conversation with Texas.
And second show where I'm not even changing the title.
I'm sorry. I mean, should we go on to this? I think so.
Yeah.
Listen,
that's fine.
The ACC is in hot shit, guys. If you're not paying attention, the ACC is in trouble. And SMU lost to Cal, which now puts a 5-loss Duke team in the conference championship. Well, let's say this team beats the ACC leader in Virginia. Well, I don't think you're going to see a ranked Duke. And the rule for the playoff is it's not 4 Power 4 auto qualifiers and then one group of 5. That's a common misconception. I don't know where it comes from. It's the 5 highest ranked conference champions. So you can very well see the American champion and maybe the Sun Belt, or maybe, you know, the Conference USA. So right now you very well could have North Texas or Tulane get in, and James Madison if James Madison wins against Troy. And then if Duke wins in the ACC championship, Virginia gets booted. So, I mean, you're going to have these two jump up from nowhere, so 24, 25, and they're going to be the last 2 slots. So really 10 is your cutoff. If you're anywhere past number 10, you're out of the playoffs. So it's going to be crazy. What's an ACC? Man, it's going to be crazy. You're going to have a lot of people upset. It's going to be a fun night. What do you guys think about the chaos from the ACC and what that'll do with maybe the group of 5? And I want to hear your thoughts.
Clemson and Florida State, this is your freaking fault. This is your fucking fault.
Yeah. Damn it, Dabo.
Dabo, get your shit together. God dang it. Nobody wanted to have this conversation.
When I picked Duke towards the earlier, part of the season on the team draft and to be
God.
solid, I was like, okay, they'll be like, maybe 3-loss team. I wasn't expecting this, Duke. God dang it. Blake, go ahead.
I mean, the ACC is and has been a shit show, aside from Clemson and Florida State. You get the SMUs, every now and again popping up and causing problems. But at the end of the day, the ACC is just not going to – it just don't measure up to me.
And this is from a fan.
An ACC
from
fan.
inside. I mean, self-awareness is the first step to accept
That's the name of the game.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, geez. Like, I mean, the ACC, I think there's good teams in there. I think Pitt was a fun team this year. Virginia coming out, and showing what they got with Chandler Morris. That's great. But they're just eating each other alive. It's like the Big 12 on the opposite side of it, except for this year, you actually had some Big 12 teams step up and carry the torch, like Texas Tech and BYU. But the ACC's in trouble, guys. If Virginia, they put it on Virginia Tech, I think they realize what's on the line here. They're going to be in the playoffs if they win this game. And even still, if Virginia does win, they'll get in, but they're going to bump one of those teams in that, 11 and 12 range.
I hope they bump Notre Dame. That'd be fantastic that Virginia bumps Notre Dame.
Yeah, I really want to see what the committee does with Notre Dame.
I just think I don't see the committee knocking Notre Dame out. I really don't.
With that same thought process though, Blake, I think they're going to have a hard time. They're going to have a hard time not letting Texas in because of the brand.
Yep. Yeah.
I really think so. Like on that same thought line, I do agree with you that
a lot of the thing about there. I think there's still a lot of issues between like Texas starting their own network years ago, separate from like ESPN. I don't think like big media cares too much for Texas because of that.
Because they can't make money off of them.
Right. Well, Notre Dame is just a household name. And I just think that, they could be 3-loss and they'd still put them in there.
They might as well be sponsored by CBS at this point. I mean, honestly.
Oh, man. I don't know. I think Notre Dame's a solid squad. I think CJ Carr's a good quarterback. They've got the best running back in the country.
Yeah.
But you balance the schedules and they don't really have the marquee wins.
I see the Notre Dame fans talking about like what y'all were talking about earlier about scheduling tough opponents. Like, well, we scheduled Miami and Texas A&M and USC, and but you would have
scheduled them anyway, though.
Right?
You have to win them though, and just because you don't get credit just for playing them unless everything else is equal.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't use that as an argument. We played those teams, well, you lost to them.
Yeah.
So Texas can only make the argument when they played Ohio State, like Brendan mentioned. They played Ohio State better than anybody else on their schedule.
Well, that's something you use because that's going to come into a play if it comes down to like if Bama loses. That's an argument that they're going to make. Well, we lost to the number one team on the road. That's when you can use that.
Yep.
But if Bama wins, they can't say, well, we beat Ohio State, we should be in over Bama. I mean, that's it.
It works both ways, and we've seen scheduling those big games, out of conference, help teams get into the playoffs and give them. I think that was a reason Texas got in a couple years ago over Alabama was that big road win in Tuscaloosa.
All right, I got a question for y'all.
Yeah, go ahead.
Odds that because of all this shit show crazy madness that ACC has caused, because it is their fault. What are the odds that this cues up another expansion of the playoff?
Well, they've already been
do it to the point where they actually do it
for 16 on Twitter. I mean, hours after they announced 12. That has always been the goal, is to get to 16.
Yeah,
that's fair. Like I remember when they announced the 12-team playoff. I remember seeing like Pete Thamel and I can't even think of names, but I remember seeing multiple sports pundits. This should have been 16.
Why 12 isn't enough?
I mean, they was all over it. Like that's always been the goal.
I think they're at such an impasse right now on going to 16 that they did extend the 12-team playoff to 2026. But I think you could see this and some of these big SEC teams get left out. Stinky's not going to stand for that. I mean, he's just as much of a piece of shit as Patetti is. And they're politicers. They're going to do everything they can for their conferences. to make the most money to line their pockets. So they're going to go out there and they're going to do what they can. 2027, you're probably going to see an extension. Yeah. What that's like, I'm not exactly sure. I
don't disagree with you there, Tyler. I don't disagree with you.
I still wish 8 was a thing, but yeah, I think it'll go to 16 as well. I'll say one last thing about Texas and the whole, well, if they didn't schedule Ohio State, then you'd only have 8 Power 4 games. They've already played San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston. And then you play eight teams in conference. I think the SEC also going to 9 conference games is going to solve a lot of this problem. They've already said they're going to play one more Power 4 opponent. So you're going to see 10 games against Power 4 teams. And then you're going to have your 2 OSC against, FCS and Group of 5. So these things are getting worked out. But I think it's fine. They're going to keep doing their thing. People are going to schedule good games out of conference. All right, let's move on. And really quick, I want to talk about Sherrone Moore, and we'll get in these games, and might as well talk about the Ohio State game first. Ohio State went out, and early they had some miscues. They had some mistakes, and Michigan was right in position to take charge of it. But the play calling has been so lackluster in these big games against Oklahoma, against USC, and now against Ohio State. There's no killer instinct on the offense. Chip Lindsey, Sherrone Moore, whoever's fault it is, I don't give a damn. There's really no improvement. And Ohio State, they're a damn good team. There's nothing taken away from them. But when you watch that game, you look at Michigan just like, what are you doing? It's 2nd and 9, and you're doing a check down. It's 3rd and 10, and you're doing a check down to the flat. Like it's multiple things, with quarterback development and everything. Trevor, is he on the hot seat? Blake, I want to get your takes, as well, of course.
Blake, if you want to go, then I'll
outside
I'll
looking in, and then we'll probably hammer it.
I'm just going to unload. I'll just unload after that.
I mean, last year was bad. He was given a bad hand, bad situation. This year, I mean, he's starting a true freshman quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't watch them like y'all do.
Sure.
Obviously, so I don't see everything that you see. But, I mean, just outside looking in, I mean, to be where you are with arguably, I mean, a second-year staff and a true freshman quarterback, I mean, was playing high school this time last year, I don't think is awful.
Yeah.
But you know what your capability is. And if you're let down by that, then, I mean, I understand the frustration because, I mean, I'm dealing with it now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say the expectation should be higher.
Right.
I mean, I watched that USC game, and there was opportunity to win. And I thought the same thing, like the play calling was awful. Quarterback development I haven't seen a whole lot of improvement from when I saw him play. Yeah. So, I mean, I can see an issue.
Trev, I want to hear you go at it because I'm sure you're going to lay it down.
So here's where I'm at. This is what I came up. I wrote pros and cons of how this would all work or not. So Sherrone Moore gets till 2027, but the only contingency is he has to get rid of Chip Lindsey's North Carolina fucking ass. Because nobody needs ACC offensive play calling in the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nobody. Because this ain't North Carolina. This is fucking Michigan.
Yeah.
So I don't know why they thought Chip Lindsey, because of what he did with
Drake.
There you go. Thank you. Drake May was going to translate to a way more mobile quarterback with a way more live arm than Drake May does. Yeah. So with that said, during the Ohio State game, you could clearly see that, and this is not his fault. This is the coaching staff's fault, 1,000%. You could actually see on multiple different plays where he was so afraid and did not know what he was looking at as far as the coverages go, that he was missing wide open middle distance throws between 15 to 20 yards. He missed. I have 4 different plays that he missed Marsh over the middle in a getting into the zone areas. And he missed it because he bailed on it and went to the check down every single time.
Yeah.
So either that's coaching or that's him literally being afraid and not trusting the offensive line, which, by the way, also has 3 true freshmen on it.
Yeah.
So I'm not bailing on Sharon Moore as of right now because he has proven that his offense can do good things. As far as Sharon Moore, when he was calling plays back when I gave him all the credit in the world as an OC because he did a lot of good things there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the disconnect is, but Chip Lindsey was not the answer. That was a bad hire. I said that from the get-go, but it was a bad hire.
Yeah, I'll say real quick. Y'all are 9-3. Sure. It's a hollow 9-3. This is shit 9-3.
Very hollow.
The 3 main teams that you play, you were uncompetitive in every single one of them.
Yes.
It'd be different. You're not going to beat Ohio State every single year. You're not going to go on a 20-year streak. Like, that's just impossible. That's why it's the greatest rivalry in the college football. It's not like you're playing a dog shit team that's your rival, like the Egg Bowl. When you got Mississippi State, your main rival. No, this is one of the premier colleges.
Or Florida playing Florida State. Come on.
Nah, but it's seriously, you don't expect that. Maybe a streak here and there. Maybe an exchange like a 10-year war.
Not with one of the best quarterbacks coming out of the portal, plus a lot of hoopla over the actual recruiting class. So like I said, this is where my mind's at. I give him till 2027, then he's out. Unless there is someone that they feel like if they fired him today, the only coach that I would be accepting of is Jed Fish.
Yeah,
that is literally the only coach in the coaching sphere that I would accept into Michigan. Kalen DeBoer, no thank you.
Yeah,
I really that his offensive schemes do not fit what Michigan likes to do as more of a balanced offense.
Yeah, I think obviously Michigan's got the identity, and this is all the rest I'll say on it is I like Sharon. He's recruiting well. He's shown in the offseason that he's willing to make changes, and I appreciate that. But this year things have to change. He deserves another chance at next season, but this year I agree you need to go out and hire a dedicated quarterback coach. You need to have, instead of Chip Lindsey doing it, I would fire Chip Lindsey. Because that shit's unacceptable. I really just didn't see the development in Bryce. He's clearly got talent. You just need to see him be able to step up. There was a play yesterday. They brought 3 men, 2 on the 2 edge rushers were getting some pressure, but there was plenty of room to step up in the pocket and deliver. He immediately threw the check down.
For real, I don't care what Michigan has to spend, but I feel like in the offseason, they need to just send Tom Brady or somebody like $10 million to come coach him on how to read defenses in NFL style defense. Because if your goal at minimum is to be at or above the standard of like Michigan, Ohio State, and be where you were, you need to have a quarterback that understands the base defenses and how to identify them.
Yeah, I think that's the most frustrating thing. I agree. I don't want to fire him right now, but I think next year his seat is hot if you go into another season and you're uncompetitive in the biggest games.
Offensively, especially.
And I think that's totally fair to say.
Because
especially when you just won a national championship and you don't want to fall off while your rival's still, out there chugging them off of massive turnover. So no, he's had a rough spot last year. With the transfer portal and everything, he's got one more shot, and I think you see them can him if next year goes the same way.
I think they need to hit the portal hard. I think they really this is going to sound counterintuitive to what I normally believe, but in this particular instance, I think they need to do it. They need to hit the portal hard with playmakers. Meaning, I need to see at least 2 really solid 6'2", 6'3" wide receivers that come in and can set the edges of the offense, meaning they can make the defense decide to cover one or the other. And I hate to say this, but literally kind of like the Jeremiah Smith and the counterpart. I can't remember his name. I can't think of his name.
Tate.
Yeah, Carnell Tate. Having that, not specifically that, but
may end up with Ryan Williams.
Shit.
I don't know if I wanted that pussy.
No, thanks.
Please take him.
I don't want that dude. He cry baby. He little baby back bitch.
I agree though. You got to go find some playmakers. Go find some defensive guys. In Michigan, will be fine. it's not a dire situation because it's year 2. You're a play away from probably getting in the playoffs. I get it, but again, it's the way you lost. You need to have a set a higher standard for yourself.
Like I said, so this is what I'll finally say. Sharon Moore, you get till 2027, but you really need to make change to really someone that mirrors your image, not like, but is a better play caller.
Yeah.
And can make adjustments on the fly. Because I really think that that's the biggest thing for Chip Lindsey, excuse me, is that he didn't make adjustments during the game. It just felt like it was the same thing over and over again, you know?
Yeah. Blake dipped off somehow.
Okay.
He might be trying to get back in. Or he was just tired of hearing about
hearing me talk about Michigan.
All right, let's talk about these games real quick, and we're going to run through the games and our bets, and then we'll call it a night, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday to talk about the conference championship week. All right, obviously Texas A&M was the first big one of the weekend. I was surprised to see Texas A&M's offense just fall flat. I know that Texas has a good defense, but really when it comes down to it, Marcel Reed had a one of those Hughes Lisman moment, and he totally shit the bed. Unfortunately, I hate it for Texas A&M fans. I know you're wanting that undefeated season against your rival, and then it goes down like that on Friday night. It's just brutal. Trev, what do you think about that game? I mean, Wisner and them finally got it rolling.
It went the way I thought it would go. To be perfectly honest, I just don't.
You did.
I mean, I think that Texas A&M is good. Don't get me wrong. I don't think I've really had a whole lot of belief in Marcel Reed like everyone else has, just because we've seen quarterbacks that are that like kind of
that mold
where they're kind of a smaller built quarterback and still a running quarterback, and usually it ends up in disaster. Where he almost, it darn near looked like he tried to make a cut and he snapped. It almost looked like he was trying to snap his ankle.
Yeah, I was worried.
Like, it's crazy. His ankle was all taped up and it's still bent that way. Like, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they rebound after a loss like that. Going into the playoffs.
They're going to get to the playoff, but I think some of their weaknesses definitely were shown against Texas.
I agree. They've got some things to work on. But odds are they're hosting a home playoff station, and Kyle Field's going to be absolutely
that'll be bumping
for that. That'll be pretty cool. Georgia Tech so close again to taking down Georgia, but they just cannot get over that hump. Haynes King, he had the one interception, but still he's such a fun player to watch, and he's such a gamer. But Georgia ultimately just overmatched them. What'd you feel about on that one? Georgia Tech.
I had them picked, and I really thought that they would be able to kind of catch them. But like when you only have Haynes King as the main source of your running game, and you rely on it, and don't get me wrong, they have better running backs than they did last year. So it wasn't they aren't as reliant on him. But I don't know. I think that I just don't like Gunnar Stockton. I don't have faith in him as much as I once did, but I thought that Georgia Tech had enough to play with Georgia, and the gap is getting closer as far as talent goes, to be honest.
Yeah, Stockton, he has moments where I'm like, okay, he makes some really nice throws, and then others I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah,
the Georgia quarterback.
The inconsistency is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it really is. But you look at, the running game, and Nate Frazier was able to bowl him over. The offensive line really was moving bodies, and it was a tight game in late, but it was just never felt like Georgia was in danger to me, even though it was close and the score was kind of like, back and forth for a minute in the third and fourth quarter. It just never felt like Georgia was in trouble of losing this one. But hey, Georgia, congrats on moving up. You're probably gonna get a bye regardless. If this SEC championship game is tight and say Georgia does lose, I still don't think they're gonna get punished much, and they're probably getting a first round bye, depending. And let's talk about Ole Miss. We just talked about Lane Kiffin leaving.
Crazy and stuff. Yeah.
It was a fun game, and Chambliss is such a fun quarterback, man. I love what this kid does. But Ole Miss, you go out and you win the Egg Bowl. Great game from them. Trev, anything on that one? I mean, Mississippi State didn't really have a chance.
Pretty much what I expected to happen, honestly. It was actually closer than I thought it'd be. I'm surprised they scored, to be honest.
Yeah. I guess Stockton was cheeks, maybe. He's a peach, I guess, looking like a butt
I'm
cheek.
not really sure what that image is. That's why I didn't say nothing. I was like, he's a Georgia peach. Is that what we're going with?
Well, in the in other spaces, that's talking about some ass there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, hey, show me you're old without showing me you're old.
How you doing, fellow kids? No, Nate Fraser was a beast talking about that game. But yeah, Ole Miss, they ran through it. Miami, when we're looking at our pick'em games, the ones you can go see those as well on socials. We shared those today. Miami went out and dominated. They are trying to get these fashion points, and that they're trying to get above Miami. They feel like they should already be above Miami or Notre Dame, excuse me. But those losses are kind of pulling them back and getting worse. When you look at was it Louisville and then SMU, and then you look at Vanderbilt. I was not expecting such a tight or such a big win for Vandy. I was watching that game and it was tight. It was fun back and forth, and then Vandy just exploded, blew Tennessee out of the water.
Whole
Tennessee
second half was all Vandy.
Oh yeah, and Tennessee fans are now questioning Josh Heupel. They want to fire their coach.
They're idiotic. Don't fire him. He's actually a really good coach.
Oh my gosh.
I just think that his talent pool, I think between.
No, sorry. I think no, we haven't talked about that one yet, but go ahead.
We're working our way there. But no, I think Heupel is getting a bad rap right now. I mean, he got dealt a pretty sticky.
I love the comments.
God bless it.
Sorry. What were you saying though, Vandy?
No, I think that Tennessee Heupel, they get a bad rap because honestly, the crap they dealt with in the offseason with their quarterback and all that other crap. Or no, not that. But I just feel like they're dealing with a whole lot of aftermath being that I don't really like their quarterback that much, but I think he's done better than what Nico would have done. I'm not going to mess with his name again, but
still, that was a hell of a trade-off this offseason.
That was. It worked out pretty decently for Tennessee. Not what they were hoping for, I'm sure.
Yeah, but still, I mean, they had a good season. You don't like losing your rival that fashion. Trust me, I get it. Yeah. But still, I mean, ass whooped in the second half. Vandy is rolling, and they're hoping that win can maybe project them into the playoffs. But I just feel like they're too far back to get in. LSU, Oklahoma, just another ugly offensive game from Oklahoma. LSU, I mean, they're not good offensively at all. And and you have a dogfight with them. They have fine defensive players, but I don't know. I don't trust Oklahoma's offense, man. I think they've only had like 2 games where they really have shown out.
So,
what do you think about that game?
So this is going to sound weird, but I view Oklahoma as the better side of what Michigan could have been, meaning that they played just good enough to win. Instead of Michigan playing just good enough to lose.
I agree. No, you're not wrong. Lean on defense
on defense, getting the points when you can get them. And legitimately, I feel like that's where I view Oklahoma just slightly better than Michigan as far as having a veteran behind center makes all the difference.
Yeah, you're right. And this is legit breaking news. I just got the notice on my phone as Jacob comments too. Mark Stoops is going to be fired from Kentucky. So we mentioned
there's another little wrinkle on, but who's going to be there now?
I think
who's left.
I feel like they really wanted Summerall. Isn't Summerall like an alum of Kentucky, if I remember correctly?
He's a graduate. I'm pretty sure
that he's now going to Florida.
Watch, he's the one that does a bait and switch.
Could you imagine?
My God!
And they're like, "Hey, buddy, listen."
By the way, never mind.
Yeah, Florida's sitting here like, What me? Why
I thought we
me?
were talking about contracts. What the heck's going on?
Oh my gosh. All right. But yeah, I agree about Oklahoma. I worry about their offense come playoff time. The reason, I mean, they beat Alabama with pick six was a big help there, but outside of that, they were kind of lethargic. I had to say that because earlier my boy commented, imagine losing to Oklahoma. We're Michigan fans, if you don't know. And it was a joke I sent to him earlier, and we've both lost to Oklahoma this year. He's a Bama fan. All right, let's talk about the Bama game versus Auburn. Bama again, just they started off so strong and then let Auburn just keep slowly, walking back in. Jordan Harris, it's a freaky place to play. People get really mad when you say that. No, they're just a good team. They're just damn good football. No, it's something about that fucking place. It's just like Michigan State. There's some bad demonic juju going on there. I don't know what it is, who they sold their soul to long ago, but it happens. It's dangerous and it scares the shit out of me. It doesn't matter how good or bad they are. But that's why it's a rivalry game. Bama, I mean, they're right on that cusp. I don't think they're going to get left out, even if they lose the SEC championship game, unless it's like a blowout. But I think Bama's still a good team. Sims, I like him at quarterback, but they have some issues. They've got to hammer it down, and they can't let off the gas. Well, what do you think about this game in the Iron Bowl?
I think it was an okay game, way closer than anybody, I think, expected it to be.
Yeah.
And I would say that for Kalen DeBoer, if they don't get into the playoff this year, this offseason might be the most important offseason in his early tenure at Alabama. Yeah. How well does the team progress? How well does Ty Simpson progress? And like all of the things, the offense needs to be more efficient. Ryan Williams needs to grow a spine. Like all of the things. Like, so I like within the game, I give all the props to Auburn and playing their asses off against an Alabama team that was favored by a lot. But all in all, I think that Alabama did just enough to survive, and that's literally pretty much their season right now. Is that they're just
in the game, man. Survive in advance.
Survive in advance. Just get to that 10-win mark, and you're in, basically.
I mean, win's a win, and that's all that matters in this game. This is a good question from Logan. Why do all these SEC schools have hedges around the field? I don't know. It doesn't keep people from storming it. I do love when people storm the field at SEC schools. They get stuck in the bush. And, two in the bush is worth one in the hand.
Happens a lot in those ACC schools. They get stuck in the bush all the time. Face plant in the bush.
Don't tell my wife, boys. I'll tell you what. All right. But either way, let's go on and talk about the next one. Oregon goes out. They beat Washington down. Again, this kind of fell the trend I was expecting on that for Washington. They're you mentioned it, Trevor. They're like a year or two away. Like Jed Fish is building a good program there, but they still they don't have the offensive firepower right now against the best defenses that they play. You saw it against Michigan, you saw it against Ohio State, and you see it against Oregon. It's the same story. Just offensively, you're looking for more. Vegetation doesn't. God, I love the comments when the boys are going. And what do you think about this one? Oregon's rolling. They're looking to have a home field playoff game.
Yeah, and I have all the confidence in the world that Dan Lanning that he'll have his team ready to play.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I have. Like, there's very few coaches that I can say that with, and Dan Lanning's one of those guys that just seems to has his team rolling to a certain degree, and he's one of the. Honestly, I feel like he's one of the best coaches at making adjustments.
He does a good job.
He does a really good job almost every single time. If his team's off in the first or second quarter, by the second half, you can see all of the adjustments that they made to try and get the offense going.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Lanning. I think he's a good coach.
Yeah. I think Jed Fish is almost there with Washington. He's almost there.
I like Jed too, man. I know Arizona fans were really upset to see him leave, but I mean, we'll mention it real quick. Arizona. I mean, look at what they're doing. They just beat Arizona State. They're 9-win team after a really tough year last season. With Brennan there, and they're doing really well. Another one I want to mention real quick is Cal beating SMU. I know we mentioned the chaos in the ACC, but just got to shout them out to get their 7th win. SMU, what are you doing? I mean, God,
choked away a spot to the ACC championship.
It's just remarkable. But still,
And-
for just coming over the ACC, good, still a great season. But God dang, man, you can't go down like that. Trev, what do you think about Clemson beating South Carolina too? They're up to 7-5. Dabo was having issues earlier in the year, but they've finally got a bowl game, unlike some teams that we haven't mentioned yet.
I feel like the fact that we have to defend Dabo and becoming bowl eligible is a problem. I feel like that's a problem.
I want to know what
discuss.
Clemson fans feel. I mean, I know they've got to be. They're talking about the Edmund Fitzgerald in the comments. I see. I mean, that you can't not miss that name and not start hearing Gordon Lightfoot play. But no, the whole Clemson thing is just wild to me. I know Dabo's got plenty of credit built up, but at some point they've got to start worrying. In my mind, let's go talk about our bets, Trevor, because there's some other cool games out there. Like there was a fun one, Illinois Northwestern, a massive snow bowl. Illinois got that win there, but let's talk about our bets real quick, and then we'll shut her down for the night. We'll mention easy Sea Biscuit. I see you down there. Calm down. It's coming. Look at that red over Florida State.
Why do we need to mention them? I don't understand.
I trusted you and your team, and this is what it got me. Red on my sheet. I'm blaming you.
Thank you, Texas, for saving my score sheet.
Yeah,
my own team sucked it up, but thank you, Texas.
Pretty solid. I guess I need to give the numbers on the season too. But Trev, I mean, great pick on the gridlock. We all hammered our gridlocks. Oregon I felt really confident in that pick. Again, just the way that Washington had been playing this season. But when Florida State, I picked that. There's times that they'll go out and their offense has really been able to score with everybody that they've played. What's his name? Castellanos has some moments of like, oh shit, okay, there he goes. He's running. He'll make a prayer pass that somehow gets completed. But Florida put it down on him, and they must have had the spirit of Summerall, their new coach, with them, and they put that ass down.
I really think that Summerall is going to have that program turned around in 1 year. We're going to see a resurgence of Florida.
I mean, they're not lacking for talent.
No, they're not.
And then you go hammer the portal. So Florida State, yep. I know you're frustrated with Norvell.
And just so everyone's aware, this is how Trevor sucks at picking games.
Well, you went heavy on the.
I went for the chaos theory. That's for sure. I went full chaos.
You went full chaos this week, and it didn't work.
It didn't work. I was praying for it, but it didn't work.
All right, here's the numbers for the season. Blake's internet went out, so he's not getting back on, and we're about to shut her down for the night anyway.
That's right.
But Blake failed at both of his against the spread picks this week. The Arizona State pick was close, but the Virginia Tech one not so much. Vandy though, he hammered it on the outright dogs this year, and he killed it honestly. When you're looking at the bets on the gridlocks, he was 10-5 on the season on his outright dogs. Trevor 5-10 picking the outrights, and then I was 7-8. And then when you look at the pick'em totals for the entire year, and we still got one more week. We're doing the conference championship games. I was 103-55 on the season. Trevor at 90-68, and Blake at 95-63. So
once again, I'm bringing up the rear for the gridiron game.
You went all out to try and get some motion there on that last one, but
yeah,
it was a good season. And again, soak it in, guys. Last regular season weeks next week. With the not the regular season, but before we get into bowl games and all that good stuff. So. Fun year, man. I'm excited to see what happens in the conference championship games, and if the group of 5 can get 2 in. I mean, that's just going to be insane if that happens. Yeah. But any closing thoughts, buddy, before we shut her down for the night?
Hey, we really appreciate all y'all on watching our show and everything like that. We've grown a lot this year between the off-season stuff, the preseason stuff, and this year throughout the year, and we appreciate you guys jumping on the live shows and everything else and helping us out with pushing our show out to everyone, and hopefully to bring some more fun off-season stuff this season.
Yeah. And if you like the new the way we've been doing it, previously we talked, really heavy into the games. and we're trying to switch it up just a little bit. We still want to give informative reasons why we're picking these games, but also talk a little bit more about things happening in the big storylines too. So if you like it, let us know and drop it down in the comments. All right, guys, we appreciate you. We're gonna shut her down, and we'll see you Tuesday when we talk about the conference championship games. And boy, it's gonna be a good one. We'll see you then.
Take it easy, everybody.